Namaskar. My name is Ravi Gupta. I am CEO and founder of Elets Media Private Limited and editor-in-chief of Digital Learning Magazine. We are a 17-year-old organization and we have been working in the field of innovations in education. We have been spreading the ideas of innovation in education through conferences in India and outside India. And today we are having an eminent set of experts here, eminent set of people who have spent years in the field of academia and education, who are going to discuss the very pertinent and important topic, which is around COVID-19. The topic is COVID-19, the changing challenges and opportunities, continued learning, and role of technology in academia. And we have to moderate this session with us, Dr. Sivaguru. He is the Vice Chancellor of MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences, Bengaluru, Karnataka. So I welcome him and I welcome all eminent speakers and the audience who have joined here. And we are live on the Facebook also. And I'm requesting all our panelists to be on mute so that we don't have audio issues. And requesting Dr. Sivaguru to kindly take over the session and moderate the session. Sir, thank you for joining.
Good afternoon, and I'm very pleased to have this opportunity to engage with the panelists and also with the students and parents who are potentially joining us in this very interesting and timely topic of how we are going to capitalize this abrupt change of paradigm in our educational operations across the country. And I'm very pleased to introduce you my colleagues on this panel, Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, Dr. Azad, Pro Vice Chancellor Sasipraba, Dr. Ramakrishnan, Dr. Srinivasan, and also the Managing Director of India and Asia Pacific region for Coursera. So this is a very informed and very knowledgeable panel, and we want to address some of the questions that are in the educators and students and parents' mind on how we are going to change our way of thinking and operate our universities, exploit the opportunities that are pointed to by this change of paradigm. Online learning has always been with us. I have worked in two institutions my two previous institutions in the US, the Naval Postgraduate School and the Air Force Institute of Technology. Both of them have an online component, a distance learning component. But it's, I would say, not entirely welcomed by the regular faculty, because regular faculty want to teach in the blackboard on a face-to-face manner. So, on the other hand, slowly and gradually and steadily, the online components of education has been growing. And for example, in Air Force Institute of Technology, we have the green room. So where actually we can have a movie-like situation where the teachers are filmed, and then the content of that class is offered both synchronous and asynchronous way. That means that in real time and also not in real time to students across the country and across the world. But now, all of a sudden, the pandemic has put us in a situation where we had to change our way of thinking and change our way of operating. And it also have made us think what we thought will happen in another 10 years, online mode becoming norm, as all of a sudden became the norm today. So that's a very exciting discussion, right? So it's almost like God intervening. I studied Hinduism, and when the things go really bad, then God Shiva appears and provide us with the change of paradigm, and good things happen. So based on that, I want to pose the question. In essence, the first question to the panel is, what are you going to do differently next semester, right? I will read this one more carefully. So the few early guidelines and suggestions have been extended by MHRD, that's the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, to promote continuous learning across institutions. As an academic leader, what will be the critical elements in the institutional planning and approach as we approach the next academic year? So let me also pose this as the clarify the premise. So education has been for generations been very traditional. You go to school and you study in a very normal way. That is changing, and it's changing very fast. And then also it has been a realization that there should be continuous and lifelong learning in many modalities to be informed and be in cutting edge in every form of your career. Anyway, so let's start with Dr. P.R. Ramakrishnan.
Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
I spoke incorrectly. I wanted to first ask Dr. Balakrishna Shetty to comment.
Sir,
Ramakrishnan, okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, it's not a question of what we are going to do next semester. We have already experimented. The last 1 month time, the Google classes and Zoom classes, conference classes, all our faculty meeting, everything they are conducted in Zoom conference meetings. And international and global experts have been called to give address to our students. One of the director from London spoke to our students about few days back. And another lecturer, another director from Dubai, he spoke to our engineering and management students as how we are facing this particular situation, how to handle the scenario. So as you rightly mentioned, change is the only permanent thing. We are all adapt for the changes. And thanks to AICTE, NAC and NBA accreditation recently we have undergone, all these things made mandatory that there should be digitalization in the whole university. And all this setup, education setup is completely transforming. As you rightly point again, it may take, we thought another 5 or 10 years, but it has come so early. And all our students are swiftly adapting the changes. Classes are going on regularly in Zoom for all the classes at their convenience. Sometimes I can say, students find it convenient. The adaptability rate is very fast and quick in India, especially in Chennai and in Tamilnadu region. And we are also experimenting with the examination. Students are writing examination online. And in the next 3 hours, we are scanning the answer sheet and posting back to us. So we are planning to go for Proctor U type as how American companies GRE examination conducted by the EDS, Proctor U. On these lines, we are planning for taking the examination in future. We are ready for total adaptation.
Okay, thank you, sir. So that's is where everybody's mind is. So I want to, before going to Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, I wanted to point out there's a key difference between in this mode of teaching, let's say in a very highly wealthy country like United States, every faculty has a laptop and also a home computer, and every student has a laptop and probably a home computer. But right now, not all of our faculty have a PC or laptop to work with, and not all of our students have. So the mode of instruction by and large has been using the mobile phone, right? So that's somehow we had to think through that modality, because it's not very likely that in the very near future everybody will have laptops and everybody will have PCs to work with. So please, Dr. Balakrishna Shetty, please continue with this theme. You can make some comments.
Yes, sir. As Ramakrishna said, change is going to be permanent. Here for a long time, we thought, what is education? Education, it is rightly said, education is a student teaching the teacher, not the teacher teaching the student. Because we thought education is teaching for a long time. Now it is not teaching. And we thought education is learning. It is also not learning. And we thought it is data collection. Data collection is also not teaching, because if you hold on a mobile phone, it will give any data within 30 seconds. So what is education? That is what every teacher and every student should understand. Education is giving wisdom to the student, not teaching, not learning, not data collection, not getting good marks in the exams. We also know that looking at the job opportunities to the students now, we also know what will be the jobs for these students. They all should be entrepreneurs rather than they should be seeking the jobs. So this change is very, very important. And we wanted this change without our knowing. I would say it's a blessing in disguise. Now all these education has shifted from classroom to the houses, maybe classroom from the computers. And instead of covering the syllabus, we have started what is calling as uncovering the syllabus. The teacher has to give the syllabus to the student, and the student has to learn this syllabus. And instead of making homeworks and all those things, and each and every student is learning what is good for him, what is ideal for him. So that is a basic change which we are saying, which has come because of this COVID-19. Initially, I would say this is the third revolution in education. First revolution was in Gurukul, like one student teaching to 3 students or few students. Second thing was a university education, where one teacher used to teach so many students. Now, third thing is online, or I would say distant education. I would say this is the fourth revolution in education, which has become an online education. So this is a revolution which is very, very important. I would like to speak to you after the participation of other panelists.
Okay, so before going to Dr. Azad, I also wanted to make the comment that yes, when we teach online, we have this tendency to just give them the notes, give them the PowerPoint, and then tell them about the syllabus, and they'll say, here's the exam coming. So how do we effectively teach in this current modality? And mind you, we don't have, in 5 years from now, in Indian scene, probably everybody will have a laptop and everybody will have, every universities will have studio facilities. But right now, in the next several months and going to the next year, when this modality of teaching is going to be with us, what are your thoughts? So, Dr. Azad. So we missed Dr. Azad. So can I go to Dr. Sasipraba? You need to unmute. So that
very good afternoon to one and all present here, all the panelists and my dear participants.
Yeah.
So I would like to, first of all, I would like to thank Coursera and ELETS for having organized this very excellent panel on the important topic to be discussed on today. So the topic, changing the challenges into opportunities and how to adopt these technologies in the academia. So actually, we would like to say thank you to this situation, this pandemic situation, that every institutions, so as per the guidelines of AICTE or our accreditation bodies at national level, international level, every institution needs to undergo this type of ICT-based, ICT-enabled learning. That is, Education 4.0 is telling the same. But not all institutions are able to adopt because of lot of hurdles and because of lot of lack of interest on the faculty members and lack of initiatives by the management or the government sector. So this ICT-enabled learning has not taken place effectively in most of the institutions in India specifically. But this situation, this pandemic lockdown period has made all the institutions, all the faculty members, and all the students are techie enabled. So everybody in remote villages, so maybe sometimes connectivity problems, and as Sir told, due to this non-availability of the laptops of all the students in remote villages, at least 85% of students throughout India are right from the school. I'm telling right from the LKG level to the higher education. Everyone are undergoing online education. Every teacher, school level teacher to higher education institution teachers are able to teach in online. And that has made the overall international vision perspective to the institutions in India. And I would say this pandemic situation has posed a lot of challenges in terms of monetary benefits, in terms of maybe the delay in admission and delay in the examination conduct. On all our academic schedules got affected. These are all the challenges, but it has made a lot of other opportunities also for the mainly for the students. They can learn, they can undergo a lot of online courses. And like, AICT has given a lot of guidelines and UGC has given the guidelines, and people are allowed to undertake a lot of online courses. So I would like to really congratulate all these visionary leaders, this like Coursera, Udemy, Unacademy, and Byju's. So all those visionary leaders, they have taken this initiative in decades back. And that has actually been practiced by most part of the world, the developed countries. And now, really, they are only supporting the Indian community, academic community at large. And easily, maybe when we are coming out of this situation, we can able to easily adapt to this ICT-enabled teaching learning process. And it's a very great opportunity for the faculty members mainly. See, it doesn't mean that, see, I have seen a lot of newspapers, news in other social media also, the opportunities for the staff members have gone down. It doesn't mean that. So you see, we have to equip ourselves. So the staff members have to change a lot. So they have to adapt the system. They have to adapt. They can actually make wonders on this new field of online education. They can create a lot of online contents. And so because say, for example, if you say Python programming, so a lot of online lectures is available online. But if the way of, see, there are a lot of faculty members, even in the remote villages or small colleges in India or any part of the world, very good faculty members, they may be delivering in uniquely. So those unique practices, the unique faculty members who are having this background ICT in knowledge can able to easily create contents and post, and they can earn a lot of money, because throughout the world there are a lot of learners for those programs. And really, I thanking this panelist, and thanks for our moderator also for asking me this question. And I hope all my participants will also accept this my points. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So before going to Dr. Azad, I also would like to point out that many of these panels, I noticed that in these discussions appear to confine to the modality of instruction. Yes, but that is the most fundamental part of our change of paradigm. But it's also, education and university operation is also about conducting research and groundbreaking research. And this change of paradigm has also provided opportunities, like pointed out by Dr. Ramakrishnan at the beginning, that we can have professors lecturing from the US or Europe to universities in India. Except the time difference challenge, this has actually created a mindset. I think it is more amenable to that type of online engagement. So I didn't give an opportunity to Dr. Azad. So Dr. Azad, can you please make a comment?
Good afternoon to all of you.
Yeah.
See, basically internet was created for scientists to collaborate. They wanted to reduce the system. Many of the scientists do collaborate. There are a lot of international collaborations, joint research projects, and other things. To share one event, I was part of creating virtual laboratories for universities. A virtual laboratory, it is very important for practicals in such situations where students could not go in large numbers to the universities because of this coronavirus problem. In virtual laboratory, what happens is that the equipment is in one lab and the cameras show the equipment. The student from anywhere in the world or from their home, they can log into the lab and then learn about the equipment. After that, they will take a simple test. Otherwise, they should not damage the equipment. They take some simple test and then they operate the equipment and learn how to operate the equipment. They can replay and other things. So we did it. Actually, one robo was kept in one lab in one country, and from many countries, students studied about how to operate the robo, passed the test, and then operated it. This was 10 years before. Likewise, nowadays, all images and other things are now digital, from X-ray to DNA. All these things can be represented in a digital format. As a result, if you see that basically the COVID problem, when it came, the DNA sequences, all these things were immediately released to hundreds of laboratories all over the world. So this will boost the research. Coming back to today's problem, the first thing is that the resistance to technology in teaching learning is gone. Okay, our university is in Chennai, and a lot of broadband is internet is available in Tamilnadu. As a result, many of our students have immediately adapted to the new situation. Even though it took us by surprise that suddenly the lockdown, everything was announced, at least a few weeks before, our university was preparing for such an event by hearing how things were done in other parts of the world. So once this lockdown was announced, the students went to their respective places, and from the next day, very interestingly, online teaching was started by our teachers. What they did was they used various platforms like Google Meet and WebEx. These were the two major platforms our people have started using it. Not only that, they also started reporting everyday class. The classes went on as per the timetable. We had very less number of complaints from the students from the rural side that they could not attend or they had any problem with them. Please understand, today, data plans are part of any internet connection. Almost all the international internet providers are giving 1.5 GB to 2 GB of data per day. And it is available throughout Tamil Nadu and throughout India also. So data is available. Thankfully, the connectivity is fine today. Availability of electricity is also good. So the next stage in the how the universities will go ahead is that we have to create or improve ICT. Even today we had a discussion on how we are going to do in the next semester. We are going to say, even if the teachers will come, a part of the, at least some 10 to 20% of the classes can be still online. That is, they say that the student should maintain the physical distance, in a place where 60 students sat, we will be able to accommodate only 30 students. That means only 50% of the students will be able to come to the class. The rest of the 50% will be work from home or learn from home. Basically, we are going towards a blended learning. That's what we are going to do. What happens is, a few days they will come to the class, a few days they will learn from home. Theory courses where not much description is not required, like mathematics, the theory courses can be taught online. So the students need not come. Classes like engineering, mechanics, mathematics, where there is a lot of discussion. For those subjects, you ask the students to come to the class. So this is the thing. So staff members, we are going to equip them with the proper ICT. That means today also we have seen, the lecturer should be very clearly visible. So you need lights and a green screen, whiteboard. Already we have a studio for preparing videos. Very interestingly, like Professor Ramakrishnan has told, what would have taken 5 years for us to achieve, in a few weeks we have achieved. It has accelerated.
Innovation under pressure.
Yes, it has accelerated. You know that we have recorded about 100 lectures using our studio. We have constructed a studio, professional studio, and video lectures we prepared and uploaded into UGC and other portals. However, the teachers were coming one by one into that. They took some time to prepare. But when we told that you have to teach online, everybody has come.
So the creating studios is an expensive affair?
No. You don't need a studio for everything.
Yeah.
Studio is for a particular topic, say 10-minute video, 15-minute video, quality. However, in the classrooms or lecture halls, when they are going to give lecture, you need lights.
Yeah.
Otherwise, nowadays, any camera is good. Even your cell phone camera is very good. You can give this one. Only thing is light and then some sound. If sound is okay, then it's fine. That is, students should not be having any difficulty in understanding. A clear sound and a proper lighting, if you can put it. It is not expensive. One need not go for any expensive things. Yellow color lights are available, and that's fine. So you have to go for blended learning. So that's what I would like to say. Likewise, research collaboration is always there through the net, and since most of the results are in digital format, there is no problem in exchange. So that's what I would like to say.
Okay, thank you very much. So yes, as I think about my own university across different faculties, as you pointed out, Dr. Azad, you can teach mathematics and theoretical things in a certain way. It is being a mathematician myself, there is some things that are easier online in this way. And then you have physics and chemistry with experiments, engineering with where you need these hands-on opportunities the students get, and the experience is now has to be emulated online, right? And sometimes remotely. And likewise, I have also health sciences departments, dental and allied health and so forth, where it involves looking at surgeries and things of that sort. And so you can see that it has to be necessarily blended. So I want to give Dr. J. Srinivasan an opportunity to comment, and then we can go to the next theme.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity to Elets Technomedia Private Limited. Of course, when this pandemic came in and the holidays were declared from March 17th onwards, we were quite worried how it will go on. But now it has come to a shape now. Of course, all our faculty members as well as our students are getting engaged through online platforms. And we are also conducting quite a number of meetings with our heads of the departments and our unit heads in administration, as well as with the faculty members also in online platforms. And all faculty members have started using the online platforms for teaching learning purposes. And majority of students are also picked up in online learning. Of course, we have experimented with a few platforms, including the Zoom initially. Then Zoom advisory came from the government, do not use Zoom and all. So later on, we shifted to GoToMeeting, then Google Meet. Now we have started using Microsoft Teams also. So probably with this technology, of course, everybody has started adopting these technologies. And going forward to the next academic year, of course, this academic year formalities, we are closing now. And we are meeting the faculty members also once in a while through online mode, all the faculty members of the campus. And we are getting updates. Their timetables are also pruned accordingly. Of course, we had placement training for our students. And we were worried about the jobs for the students. After doing all these things, the students have to find jobs. That was one of the main motives. That also being taken care of now. Of course, our main focus is now to complete the academic requirements by this month. and going forward to placement and other requirements by next month. Of course, in the meantime, project compilation, project thesis report submission, those also is being pushed, and students and the faculty members are working on it. So basically, our entire system came into a paradigm shift, and to our happiness, it has been adopted by most of our faculty as well as students. And of course, we are bound with many kind of this regulatory authorities and bodies in Government of India, like AICTE, UGC, and others, as well as we are coming under the Anna University. We are we hold NIRF ranking for the past 4 years within 100. We are an autonomous institution, and also we have majority of we offer 14 undergraduate branches and about similar number of postgraduate branches in engineering and technology. About 12 undergraduate programs accredited. So we were worried about these kind of things, how we will go forward and all. Now it has been taken care of, and most of them are equipped, and we are also supporting all of them in these modalities. So technology upgradation and information management. Of course, what is the management objectives? Then what are the broad pathways in education? How we will go ahead? This is going to be happen. This is going to be existing for a longer period of time. It is not that going to end within a shorter period of time, but probably the thing is that everybody has got adapted to this new kind of requirements and situation. Of course, even the government also given directives now that we can go ahead with this kind of online mode of training and education. We are also experimenting the softwares for conducting the test and all. Of course, since we are bound by Anna University, we are also looking at the Anna University stipulations. Of course, as per UGC AICTE norms, they are given timelines of July for conduct of the final in-semester examinations on a face-to-face mode only, not an online mode. But in the meantime, our internal assessment test and all, we are planning to conduct in online mode, which will complete by this month. We identified certain softwares, US-based, Indian-based software also. We will be finalizing that. So basically, the technology orientation has come in, as somebody told. Within a short span of time, everybody has got adapted to the technology, and information communication has become quite feasible within this short span of time. Everybody has become equipped. Of course, we never thought that these kind of things will come. But now, for instance, the campus management, the infrastructure management, the examinations management, admissions management, academic calendar management, everything has come into this online mode. So every day we are holding meetings, we are discussing with all of our stakeholders, including students, parents, everybody, and we are pruning our deliverables so that our stakeholders will be satisfied. That is one of our major requirements. For that, we are continuously working and shaping our systems for equipping ourselves for the next taking it forward. I think with that, I leave it to the panel convener. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so by the way, I have asked all my faculty and HODs and deans to conduct a mock exam or trial exam, just like you bowl a trial ball in cricket before our semester end exam this time, because to assess the impact of this sudden switch of modality of instruction. Because the faculty can come back to you and say, yes, everything is going well, but then we will know how things are going well when we do a mock exam. So that's something I suggest, you may, it's up to you to run your own institution. But we had a very strong enthusiasm across the board to first run a mock test before giving the semester end exam in July or whenever we finally decide, because otherwise we are going to be surprised, I think, because when the students, if and when the students perform bad. So if you hold a mock exam, let's say 3 weeks before the semester end exam, then if the we have high-end subjects like aerospace engineering, computer science, and electrical engineering, where this impact of the sudden switch of modality may have adversely impacted. So that's, I just wanted to let you know that this is something we are doing. It's a good, it appears to be a good idea as endorsed by the faculty. The next theme we want to move to is if I put it in a nutshell, this mixed modality of teaching, online versus face-to-face, is here to stay. It's not just a temporary fix for what has happened due to pandemic. It's not just that we had to do this in the next few months, but going beyond, when the new batch comes, it appears that now that we have started thinking about mixed mode, is here to stay. So now that we have already burned almost 37 minutes, so I want to go more quickly. So I will ask you a 1-minute comment from each one of you on do you have any thoughts on actually mixing up online teaching with face-to-face? It's sort of mentioned in the last few minutes discussion in the fall semester and beyond. So let me start with Dr. Balakrishna Shetty.
So this, I would like to say, this change was bound to happen because digitalization had happened in almost all the fields except in education, I would like to say. Somehow I would like to say the faculty had some resistance or some lethargy for putting our students into online education because they were trying to, I would say, lock down our students within the 4 concrete halls. Now, I would say the students have been liberated out of the 4 concrete halls, and this digitalization is bound to happen whether you like it or not. Whether you want to compromise it by saying that this will be a mixed education or not, I am not going to say about it. But now what is happening is the student is open to all the lectures. It may be national, it may be international, it may be IIT, it may be MIT, it may be anything. He can see any lectures. He can go with those lectures and he can produce certificates. What will happen? The attendance will go. The student should come inside the class. That will go. The student should listen to a particular lecture. That also will go. Everything will go out of this digital education. And I would say this digitalization is bound to happen, whether you say it is bound, whether it is mixed or not, because he can produce. Now, what will happen is, like a student will not say, I am in the best school where I have the best teachers. You know, he will say, I have listened to the best classes of the best teachers in the world. He will say that. And that is going to change. I think the students will adapt to this immediately, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so it's a very good point, you know. So at least perhaps in the future, you're not going to punish the students for not coming to class. Or not allowing them to take the final exam, and as long as they turn in their homeworks, they do the exam well. This attendance punishment is a nightmare. What is going on, right? Students don't come, and then you don't let them take you don't promote them. That's only happening in the India. But anyway, let me go to Dr. Ramakrishnan.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can comment about, do you have any thoughts on whether your institution is actually going to hybridize the instruction so that you will have a inherent part of online education along with in-class?
Yes, absolutely. We are 100% in alignment with the global matching with the concept. Actually, the Sloan publication in 2011, in US, they tried it. And at that time, when it was a blended learning was introduced in US, 6.5 million users were available. Out of that, only 31% of students enrolled for the online education. In 2017, 65% of the US population gone for online education. And this is a starting point in India. And in another 5 years down the line, you can expect minimum 40 to 50% of population will adopt for online education. So we are in the right path and at the right time. All education institutions and the present learner, see the learned listeners mindset is different now. When I was a student, it's different. Now the student with the complete gadgets, the present day learner, he is very comfortable with the kind of the equipments we are using, the kind of a system we are adopting. We have to change according to the listener and student centric. We are moving around. We are from the teacher centric. We are moving towards the student centric. What is comfortable for him? What is our willing area? Which lecturer he wants to listen? Quality will speak. It is not the ambience.
Absolutely.
The quality will speak now.
That's right.
This is what we have to adapt, and we are fully in alignment what is happening around the world.
So next I would like to go to Raghav, because being Coursera, this is a good time for him to jump in. But I wanted to make a comment before that. But at the end of the day, yes, it looks like the concept of university campuses may disintegrate in the long run. But looking back in my own education, my undergraduate in Kandy, Pennsylvania, or my University of Washington, Arizona, all these places, I often considered the university life is 70% and instruction is 30%. So what will happen to that 70%? That's another question. Raghav, you would like to comment what will happen if inherently we are going to become online versus in class?
Sure, Dr. Sivaguru. Good afternoon. So I'd like to share 2 points. I think a lot of good points have been shared specifically for what we're expecting to see in the short term. I think thinking about how jobs will change in the future is also relevant from a medium term to long term standpoint. And let me talk a little bit about that first. Most of us are seeing this, that the economy in India as well as globally will be under severe pressure. And there are sectors which are very, very impacted. So whether it is retail, whether it is transportation, whether it is hospitality, whether it is consumer sector, we will see significant pressure on these sectors. And it is also the technology sector, because eventually IT services companies serve retail companies and transport companies in the US and in Europe. This means that, and many of you are from engineering institutions, students studying automotive engineering, students studying airline related content, students wanting to go and work in the technology sector will need sharper job relevant education, and will also need credentials from the best universities in the country as well as globally. Because if earlier for one job there were 3 students vying, now for that same job there will be 10 students who will be vying. And so the level of quality needed and the level of differentiation just went up 3 to 4 times. And we will see this happening for the next 2 to 4 years. One of the sectors that is still doing well, which is banking and insurance, is largely moving online. So if I am an MBA student studying finance, it's no longer enough to go and work in a bank. I need to know blockchain, I need to know digital technologies if I'm going to go and work in a bank. The second thing I'd like to share is, Coursera being the world's largest online education platform. On the 12th of March, we made our Coursera for Campus platform free for all universities and colleges around the world. And we offered close to 4,000 courses. And, we made this available till the end of July. And I'd like to share what we are seeing, the data that we are seeing on our platform. As of today, 3,100 colleges and universities in India have gone live on the Coursera for Campus platform. About 2 lakh students are learning on our platform. And this includes 26 IITs and IIMs. So institutions which are the top institutions in the country are giving us feedback that the quality of education that the students are getting is extremely being received very well. And I think this was said earlier, that students are very, very much already, thinking, how do they get the best quality education? Because they want it, they enjoy it. And they're also thinking about what will happen to jobs this year, but also for the next 2 to 3 years. And, while most education is happening right now online, our expectation is that this is going to be a permanent shift, where even when campuses start to open, 20 to 30% education will continue to be online, while the balance 70-80% at some stage, once the social distancing norms change, will go back to being on campus. So that's some of what we are seeing at Coursera.
Okay, thanks. So that's a related issue we cannot sweep under the rug, is that there is the accreditation bodies tend to limit a student from assembling his or her degree like buying a stereo system, right? You want to, typically, if there is no constraint from various accreditation bodies, then a student wouldn't mind taking some courses from, let's say, Ramaiah, some from IIT, some from MIT, some from Coursera, and then say, here is a degree, right? But so that's the line of thinking will fundamentally disintegrate the university system. So you are going to see a lot of resistance in completely going to that mode. But as it was pointed out before, we need to think about students' viewpoint as a consumer versus a university offering an education and recruiting faculty in all the areas they would like to recruit, and then offering a complete degree for that student. So it's a very important point. So there is also discussion of the regulating bodies like AICTE and UGC are going to permit a certain fraction of classes to be online.
Dr. Sivaguru, can I just supplement what I shared with one quick example?
Yes.
To your point about accreditation, so let me take an example of what NMIMS University in Mumbai has been doing since middle of last year, well before the current pandemic. So at NMIMS student, a BTech student is given the choice of saying that if your CGPA is above a certain level, you can actually get a BTech honors by doing, instead of 160 credits, you can take 180 credits. For the additional 20 credits, they don't offer an in-person class. Those 20 additional credits are offered on Coursera, where the student can take the latest technology courses from the world's best universities. And the student has a choice of coming out with a BTech honors with specialization in artificial intelligence. And their experience has been that this combination of on-campus plus online, where the degree is still completely an NMIMS university degree, and credits are given not from the universities who have created the course, but by NMIMS themselves, is a very strong value proposition for the student, because this student then becomes very unique when he goes out seeking a career at the best companies in the market.
Yes, it's a good point, because no matter how good the university is, when you take some of the top areas like AI and machine learning, you will find that it's in students' best interest is to supplement what is offered by that particular institution by courses from Coursera or edX or things like Microsoft or things like that. I want to move on to the next topic is, what in your thoughts are the best practices to ensure learning? That question I sort of raised before. How do we know that the student learning is as good as on-campus in-class learning when you do off-campus online? And so this is why I mentioned that we have planned to do mock test. So yes, Raghav, can you comment about student learning for online versus campus, right?
I'd like to address this slightly differently. I think it is fairly well established, and I think a lot of the panel members said this as well, that students and the job market expect that we will see a combination of online and offline, whether it be 80-20, 70-30 that we will see. Maybe what I can share is that those universities who are looking to build an ecosystem where they can deliver well-crafted online learning, what do they need to do? And my point of view is that there are 4 kinds of systems or technologies that need to be implemented, because this will bring together everything that you need to have. The first is a real-time communication tool. So we are using Zoom today, whether it be Microsoft Teams and so on and so forth, because those are needed. The second needs to be an online education platform, like a MOOC platform. Coursera is one of them, and there are some others as well. The third is a learning management system, an LMS, where whether it's a Zoom class that can be recorded, whether it's a Coursera course that can be sitting there, credits can be managed and so on and so forth. And the fourth is online proctoring and assessments. I think if universities bring together this kind of an ecosystem and think about medium term to long term, because eventually once lockdown opens, campuses will open, but we will be able to have students getting the best of both worlds by a combination of on-campus plus online.
So,
Can I add something?
yes.
Dr. Now online evaluation, I think that is what you are talking about. Online evaluation maybe through the university or maybe through some some other universities. Okay, now there are possibilities. So far now we used to insist that students should have 80% attendance or something like that, and even evaluation certificates he may not be getting from the same university. He may get my evaluation certificate from another university, and the student may show that look at this particular subject which I wanted to study, I have studied from another university, and this is a certification. They may produce it to the university telling that they have got enough knowledge about this particular subject. But more than that, what the students, now coming to the job profile is considered, the industry is looking at a student who has got hands-on experience. Now I would like to say, henceforth, what are the challenges, what are the advantages of this particular situation is student will be looking for hands-on experience. Like for example, as a doctor, I would say, I will not be going to school at all. I'll be attending a hospital every day. I go to the hospital, I see a patient, and whatever I have to learn, I will learn it from my seniors and senior doctors. I don't sit inside 4 chambers to learn something like that. So most of my time, 50 to 60%, we are dealing with the patients. Similarly, in technological education, student will be spending his time not in the classroom. He may be spending his time in the industry, or all engineering colleges will be given permission only if they have got an in situ industrial process. Okay, so what I'm telling you, evaluation may be online. It may not be from the same university. It may be from another university, number one. Number two, students will appear for the university only to get hands-on experience. And the third most important point that what is going to happen is student will attend the university to do research. These are 3 things which are going to happen. So our faculty, instead of getting agitated with online education, they should get trained with these things. And another what is coming is artificial intelligence. So nobody should be afraid of all these things. I think all faculty members, all deans, all principals, all vice chancellors should be prepared for this thing which is going to happen in the post-COVID area. That's what I would like to say.
Yes, it's a very good point. In fact, I being a former Air Force and Navy scientist, artificial intelligence and machine learning has been top priority here. And in order to build a capability in individual universities in India, you are hard pressed to be able to hire faculty, adequate faculty to cover areas like that. The AI machine learning is one, quantum computing is another, and then in space sciences and defense sciences, there are many timely issues which are important to India. There is, of course, there is an immense interest in public health research and research in virology, virus detection, virus attack prevention and cure and things like that. And given the fact that India has 1,000 universities, how do you adequately staff if you just only rely on your own faculty? So it simply necessitates that we need to supplement our what our university can offer with what the rest of the world can provide to the students. Since before going to the question and answer session, I want to go back to Raghav and ask the last question. As an industry leader who wants to help universities, framework towards adopting technology in classrooms in a more planned and structured approach to benefit students and time management for faculties. And so, it appears that the partnership between universities and industries which provide education or enable education is going to be much more deeper in the future. So what are your thoughts, Raghav?
Dr. Sivaguru, maybe what I can do, I spoke about in terms of enabling this online education. I already spoke about what are the 4 categories of technologies universities should be thinking about. And I know a lot of conversation is about what's happening today, which is either faculty conducting online classes with Microsoft Teams or Zoom, or MOOC platforms, some of the MOOC platforms that like Coursera, using those for online education. I know there's also been a lot of Q&A about what will happen in the future. Maybe I can share 2 examples which might not be the norm today, but we think it is going to come quite quickly. So 2 weeks ago, I attended the Coursera virtual conference, and there was a fairly senior speaker from Imperial College London. And Imperial College London is, of course, a leading institution in medicine. And this lady said that Imperial College is working on an MBBS in 3 years' time that they expect will be almost fully online, where a lot of the clinical work will be done using virtual tools. Now, I'm not an expert in that phase, but for me to hear that a full MBBS can go online using virtual reality and other augmented reality tools was really quite something. But what we're already seeing is leading universities like an Ivy League school like the University of Pennsylvania today offers a master's in computer science and information technology on Coursera, fully online. And that's been the case for the last 2 years, where it's the same admissions process, the teaching happens online, and it's largely the same degree at 1/4 the cost. And today, all assessments, all exams happen online because online proctoring is very, very doable. It's a little expensive right now, and maybe as usage grows, costs will come down. So in regular engineering programs, we're already seeing full online degrees happening, especially in computer science. We may start seeing in mechanical engineering, in auto engineering with virtual reality and other tools, a lot of virtual labs enabling a larger section of the education to start happening online. And possibly the holy grail is a full MBBS online. I don't know if that will happen or not, but it's the kind of development that is happening already for the last 2 years.
Yeah, so I must say that, after spending 41 years in the United States in the education system and coming to a private university in India, private universities in India has one attribute that is not there in the US system, is that private universities in India are much more flexible and adaptable. So I was able to introduce 4 BTech programs related to AI, machine learning, and autonomy, and also was able to revamp the automobile engineering and aerospace engineering to introduce AI and machine learning. And so that type of university being relevant and responsive and be ready to adapt is a unique trait in Indian private universities. I think that's something we need to be very proud of. This willingness to adjust to the needs of and interests of the student very much there in the Indian scene, rather than resisting and bringing inertia into the system. So there was a question, we can sort of blend into question. There was a question somewhat in the line of, are we preparing students for the future? In the sense, in the next 10 years, are you thinking about students 10 years, what they will do in the next 10 years? Are we preparing them for the future? So can I ask Dr. Sasipraba to answer, to start? Looking at
yes, sir. Yeah, sir. See, as for the previous question, just I wanted to mention my own point. So you said about academic flexibility. So all our governing bodies are actually to implement academic flexibility. Now, because of this 25% of online education with 25% of face-to-face learning, easily we can able to make it. Faculty resources are getting shared, and it's not necessary that every institution need to hire a faculty who is specialized in particular area. So the same faculty content can be delivered, and that can be learned by our own students. So actually, we need to really change the role of education. So we have to redefine education, and that is one way. And as you told, for the next 10 years, as per the Dell Technologies review report, 65% of the future job in 2030 jobs are not yet known, because 65% of new jobs are going to come. So we couldn't able to define what is going to come for 2030. Similarly, for World Economic Forum, they have given the report that 80% of the job for the generation Alpha. You know, generation Alpha is the generation who are studying right now the 5th standard, the primary school level standard students. So when they come for a job, that time 85% of the job, what job they are going to have it, that they are not yet decided. So this is how the technology is going to change. So because of all this technology paradigm shift in the field of education, not only in the field of education, almost all the fields that is going to happen. So that is going to generate a lot of new jobs. So which will holistically lead to development of the nation and the globe as a whole. This is my point, sir. So in 20, you are telling about after 10 years. So sure, AI and machine learning is going to rule. Data science, all those things are going to rule. And then a lot of new softwares for evaluating the students, for assessing the students. Now a lot of new tools are there, which is very costly. That is our proctoring tools, as Raghav told. So now they are commercially available. Still, a lot of cost-effective tools will come. So the demands for the entire IT industry, all the other industries who are going to automate the education, everything are going to come in the next 10 years. Thank you.
Thank you. So, a couple of comments. One, I should have made before. So if you think about, let's say, data science, statistical analysis, and AI, machine learning to some extent, as a essential component of all disciplines, you know, whether it's medicine or engineering or physics or chemistry, or health sciences or social sciences, even there, you know, it's, you rely on statistics. So it's important that that type of courses, such as data analytics, are available to every student. And so that's one of the ways by which we can lock into these industries which enable industrial platforms like Coursera or edX,
yes,
or so forth, right? Which can provide every student, whether your university has experts in those areas or not, the student needs it. So,
yeah,
and therefore that's something to think about, so that every student, when he or she graduates, whether you are in economics or you are in biotechnology, you will know some degree of data analytics and statistics, because that is that's how the world operates today. And yeah, so the one of the question was about how would you support the students in the rural areas. In fact, we are all facing that situation at this moment, right? The students, a number of our students have gone to rural areas. They may have access to a mobile phone, but so there is an innovation. Perhaps the IT industries can think of offering very, very affordable laptops to every student in India, so that when and access, right? So if they can afford iPhone, maybe there should be educational laptop had to be marketed, so that when the students come in, everybody part of a small addition to their tuition expenses, they all have a laptop. Something like that need to be thought out. What do you think? Some the panelists, anybody can jump in.
Sir, yes. We have an innovative idea. We have thought about this laptop and satellite service. All those things we worked out through ISRO and all those things. Yeah. But basically, I would say all these rural schools, because we need to use these rural schools and have a server there with all the digital content. Because if you are looking for higher education, I would say higher education is basically in colleges, so we don't talk about the rural areas or something like that. And internet, just like electricity, power, water, everything, internet is going to come to each and every rural area of India. That is a question of time, but it may happen anytime. But I would like to say these rural schools, instead of giving entire 24-hour internet, power and all those things, we thought of a novel solution. Number one, in each and rural school have a server with the digital content, number one, so that the students can access that digital content anytime. Or you convert, we have converted from our Siddhartha University, we have converted rural libraries into digital learning centers. where students can learn any topic at any time. We can go and learn these digital contents.
So yes,
I would like to add one additional point, and I know in the Q&A this is being asked quite a bit as well, which is about internet connectivity.
yes.
And I think it's important to double click a little bit on this, because there are 4 levels of internet connectivity that are required depending on the technology we are using. Highest bandwidth is required if you're doing a live class, like a Zoom class or a Zoom lecture or a seminar that we have right now. And that has to be stable connectivity, because if it breaks for 10 minutes, you miss 10 minutes of a class. So that's the most difficult part to have in regions where it is poor connectivity. Second is asynchronous classes, where if a faculty has recorded a lecture and put it on YouTube, even if the internet connectivity is not so high, you can watch it. If it breaks for 10 minutes, you can go back to it. And the third level is on a platform like Coursera. Today, we let students download the classes onto their apps on the phone, so that overnight you can actually download the full class for the lecture, even if the connectivity is not good. And during the day, you can actually watch it quite seamlessly, because it is an asynchronous lecture. So I think it's good to double click on this and say, what kind of a technology platform are we using? And then also, like Dr. Shetty said, there are many organizations in India which are typically called CDNs, Content Delivery Networks, which are establishing servers such that even though internet may not be available, you can actually access content. So there's a company which has now got a contract from Indian Railways, where in every train in the country, they will establish a server where certain content will be available in the train, wherever it might be passing through any part of the country. And this is starting to happen in small towns. It's starting to happen in villages as well.
Just I want to add a point to this. Tamilnadu being a pioneer the last 10 years, strategically we have distributed free laptop for millions of students in Tamilnadu. All of them are very well aware how to handle the computers now, laptops. The digitalization process is not today. Last 10 years it's going on in Tamil Nadu. And rural network users by rural is more than urban in Tamil Nadu. And it's the one state where government schools in rural area are using internet facilities, computer education, completely it is digitalized. So it is easy for us to adapt. In the situation like this, the rural students are not comfortable, and the kind of problem of rural unable to follow or the problem faced by the students may not arise more in Tamil Nadu.
More than digitalization and computerization, I would like to say utilization is more important. That you can equip your students with any number of gadgets, but how much they utilize and how much they utilize that laptop for their studying and learning, that is also much more important.
So it's
the motivation. The motivated students will do.
That is very important. Yes.
It should be an absolute right for every student, not just the ones maybe going to wealthier schools or government schools, but also private schools. We have to somehow neutralize so that all students have affordable laptops, like the way Professor said. Anybody else want to jump in? And it is a passionate topic.
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
Sir, regarding supporting the rural students.
Yeah.
I think similar to laptop, each student may be given a tab with all their lessons preloaded. For example, if a child is studying in 7th standard,
that's better.
A tab or a laptop with all the video, everything preloaded, so they are not disturbed by the non-availability of the internet. This is the first thing. Second thing is that taking internet broadband to schools, all schools in villages may not be a big problem for the government. I spoke to experts, they say that connecting all schools through broadband is not at all a problem. Actually, ultimately it will be cheaper delivering content this way than any other way. So local servers is also a fantastic idea. One need not wait for the internet to be available. Let all the lessons, like a library, digital library, local servers will act as a digital library, which can be used by the teachers. Yes. Anyway, coming to where we have started, please understand, there is no replacement for the physical university. Physical universities will be there. because students not only come to the university to learn subjects, they also learn about people, they interact with the professors, they learn mannerisms, good behavior, everything. There is more inside a university than only lessons. So what we are going will be blended learning. And that is where the MOOCs courses are going to be there, because I have seen the courses offered by NPTEL, Swayam, Coursera and all that. They are prepared with all seriousness, and sometimes such material available in Coursera may not be easily available even in 10 books. They put a lot of effort and they are updated. On the other side, in schools and colleges, you will see that there are 4 teachers teaching one subject. Some teachers will be more popular than the others. Okay, so students also should learn from everybody. You cannot say that 7th standard maths will be taught by one best teacher and the entire country will learn from him. It will not work like that. So we need variety, variability, and moreover, the teacher in the class will be able to adjust to the learning pace of the students. So we have to go for blended learning, and MOOCs are going to be there. Very interestingly, there was a survey about big data analytics. They say that 75% of the people who are working on big data analytics learned it on the net. They did not study it from any university. There's a big gap universities have to fulfill. And thanks to the MOOCs and other platforms available, they have learned it. So these online platforms for learning will fill up the gap, especially in the latest technology. From 3D printing to big data analytics, they are only filling the gap between the traditional institutions and the state of the art. At the same time, some people say you can learn certain things only on the net. Please understand, a student in a particular subject, say mechanical engineering or commerce, any topic you take, they should have core knowledge. They should cover the ground. Okay, somebody cannot learn how to use the spreadsheet and then say that he knows all the financial functions. He will not be a financial analyst. Okay, so the core knowledge is very important, and the change of pace inside the classroom is very important. However, if we are not going to use the digital resources, that will be a great letdown. That will be a big letdown on the students. We have to use, that is why now what people are doing is that they take a very good presentation from YouTube. For example, say, advancements in robotics. There's a fantastic video available from a leading robot manufacturer. They play it, the teacher starts with an introduction, plays for some time, pauses, then explains a few things, then again he plays. So he uses the latest material from the net, and also he is filling the students with his own comments, which is one of the best ways of learning. Then coming to the best practice, all of a sudden we have started to practice. So hereafter only we will know which things have helped us. For example, in B.S. Abdurrahman Crescent Institute of Science and Technology, fortunately we have very good broadband and all the things that are required. We are also using a ERP package for all the administration, and we are using LMS based on Moodle platform. So as a result, it was easy for us to shift to online teaching. I will share a few techniques that we have used. First thing is that before closing, we have created WhatsApp groups among all the students. Every class advisor will have a WhatsApp group, and HOD will have the group, and Dean will have different WhatsApp groups, so that it is for discussion and quick information. WhatsApp, that is the first thing. Second one is that for sharing the material and assessments and announcements, we have used Google Classroom and our LMS. This is the second part. For online teaching, we have used Google Meet and WebEx. That is for teaching. Then for small groups and classifications, we went for Hangouts and Skype. So these are all the technologies we have used. We have issued a circular that use the technology in which you are comfortable. So one may teach through Google Meet, another may use WebEx. But once this lockdown is over, we are going to have a meeting and then we will finalize what are all the things that we worked. We are waiting for the feedback.
Okay, thank you. So I want to, there are a couple of issues we can discuss. One is we haven't touched much about research, but it's, I think all the panelists would agree that the enhancing our modality and learning from online enhances the research. So, but there was a question I wanted the panelists to answer because I am sure it's very much in our students in mind. So they want to know whether this new modality will enhance placement. So maybe we'll start with Raghav and everybody can comment on that. Will it positively impact placement of the students now that we are going on a different mode?
So I can share some data from Coursera to answer that question. On Coursera globally, there are about 56 million learners, which is about 5.6 crore learners. And in India, there are about 7 million learners, about 70 lakh learners. Coursera for Campus, which is designed for colleges and universities, was only launched in October last year. But before Coursera for Campus, 90% of the learning on Coursera was done by working adults. It was not done by students in colleges and universities. And today there are 2,300 companies who train their employees on Coursera for how the workplace is changing. And because 2,300 companies, and these are some of the best companies in the country as well as globally, you know, companies like Infosys, Tata Communications, many, many more, because they've been training their employees on Coursera for the last, 4-5 years, companies already have a very high appreciation of the kind of quality platforms like Coursera can bring to their employees. And when these companies start seeing students who are also learning on the same platform and coming to them, it starts making a lot of sense for these companies. So today on LinkedIn, after Microsoft, Coursera is the second single largest source of credentials on the entire LinkedIn platform globally. So I'm just using data to illustrate the point that I think in the job world, learning from top institutions and the quality of learning and the value of the credential from top institutions matters. Companies do see a lot of value in that.
So Raghav, currently there's a tremendous surge of interest in learning about public health related areas, vaccinations and whatever that is being prompted by the pandemic. And so one place, the university, not all universities may have that kind of classes. Coursera has classes in public health and related areas, or questions that may come up due to the pandemic.
Yeah. So in general, on Coursera over the last 45 days, our usage globally and in India is up 1100%. Last year in 45 days, if 1.5 million people came to Coursera, in the last 45 days, this number is closer to 12 million. The single biggest increase is in the public health domain, Dr. Sivaguru. And Imperial College London launched in the third week of February, very quickly, a course on COVID-19 and understanding COVID-19 better. And that course has been taken by hundreds of thousands of people in India and around the world. Because like you rightly said, many people wanted to understand COVID-19 and public health, and they've taken that course and it's available on the Coursera platform. Along with understanding pandemics, people around the country as well as globally are very concerned about personal well-being. And there is a course on Coursera which is called The Science of Well-being from Yale University. And that course this year has been taken by over 1 million people. 10 lakh plus people have taken that course because it is, like I said, the science of well-being. So if universities want to use public health content on Coursera for their students and they don't have a public health discipline, it is of course a great idea, but I wanted to supplement my answer with some data from our platform before I say, a yes or no to your question.
Yeah. Anybody else want to jump in? Yes.
Of course, I would like to tell
Dr.
something.
Yeah.
Srinivasan here. Of course, in the past discussions regarding the iPad usage, I think the community commented about it. I saw in television sometime back some of the Delhi schools, some of the children are asking for iPads because they cannot carry all the learning material on their bags from home. That is what the children suggested, and the schools are working in Delhi probably to introduce iPads for all children. That is being worked by all universities also in India. That will become an essential requirement. Of course, regarding Coursera, Raghav has told quite a bit. Even our students also, recently we got about 10,000 free licenses, and now the enrollment levels are more than 15,000 in Coursera as of 6th May. And most of our students have taken 1 or 2 courses. And the hybrid learning has become the class of the day. Of course, the syllabus revisions also we are going forward. Syllabus revisions in a hybrid way. Some of the courses on online learning mode. Of course, we give waivers for Coursera courses and the map other courses also with Coursera and other Swayam online courses, NPTEL and other things. Of course, we have been studying some of the US universities like Harvard or Oklahoma. They have already experimented with these online courses as well as awarding pass-fail grades. That is also one of the options. What kind of grades do we offer? That is becomes another question, whether it is a pass-fail grade or whether it is an examination grade. That also relative grading, these kind of things come into play in these kind of aspects. So basically, there is a entire shift in these areas, and Coursera has become quite popular, as Mr. Raghav told just now, and many of our students are adapting to it. Also, of course, we are also using other modes like PowerPoint embedded with audio. There's YouTube instructions. Then Google Classrooms, of course, all learning material uploading in Google Classrooms. And companies, of course, the students look for companies look for the portfolio of the students. Students look for the value of their costing and money, how much they pay, what value they are going to get in this kind of new system. That is what going to play in the near future. How far we are able to leverage these opportunities. This is an opportunity basically to leverage ourselves and to enhance our student skills for their jobs, because employability levels may go up if our universities maintain the quality rating. I hope. So this is my contention for the audience, please. Yeah.
Thank you. So I thought in the remaining time I will just make a comment and then I will ask others to make any comments. So I want to say that the vision of our university is to create future leaders of the country who will bring about social change, who will work for innovations and discovery that will help national security, public health, industry and manufacturing and the economy. And the blended learning and learning beyond the traditional ways of learning is definitely here to stay, to improve and produce better students and better quality leaders and intellectual thinkers of the future. So with that, I want to first ask Raghav to make any comments, and then any of the other professors can make comments.
Briefly, just I want to say as a timekeeper that we have just 5 minutes.
Yeah.
More to end this. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's. There were questions with regard to Coursera and so forth. So maybe Raghav make some final thoughts.
Yeah, just very quickly, I think a number of people have asked how they can access the Coursera platform, and I've added the link in the chat window. Coursera licenses and about 3,800 courses are available at no charge till the end of July. You can have 5,000 or even more students sign up. Students cannot sign up individually, but a college or a university needs to sign up on their behalf. And so please do that, and we'll be happy to support colleges and universities in any way that we can through this crisis.
So we have encouraged our students to join MOOC program freely available from IIMB and so many other global universities. And ProQuest we are already using from what you call Center of Economic Times. So most of the students are quite familiar. Harvard is offering about 20 programs free of cost now.
Yes.
So all these things students will stand to gain.
Yes. Anybody else want to make a 1-minute comment?
Yeah. What I would like to say is, no, any number of courses, I don't know how it will enhance employability of our students is a very difficult question to answer, okay? And basically all the industries are looking for hands-on experience for our students, not their courses or not their certificates. That is the most important point I will make here. And another thing regarding education is looking at the healthcare, we have done so well in the COVID pandemic. India has done so well compared to Italy, France, Germany, and US. So I would say our faculty members, our students should stop looking west. We should not follow them blindly. Whatever teachers, whatever education, whatever their courses, we need not follow that blindly. Our students are good. I feel our faculty members, they should encourage our students for our own type of education, and they are much more intelligent than the Western students. The best of the brains are Indian students. Let us encourage them. Let us not look west for each and everything. That is my final message.
Exactly.
My final comment is the technology will not give empathy to the students. So that's why we are telling the face-to-face education is more important than this online education. So as per our recent guidelines by UGC, 25% online education we can go. So that will actually add value for the blended learning and other kind of ICT-based learning environment. And then 70% face-to-face is very much important. So our, as Balakrishna rightly said, our system way of educating children is really the best in the world, I would say. And our way of traditional medicines, everything is really supporting us a lot. Thank you.
Yes, so, you know, the passion and positive energy and enthusiasm and the intensity the Indian educators bring about these days is quite inspiring. And it will not be too long before some of the greatest universities of the world will be cultivated and built in India. And I'm confident, and that's why I came from US to here. So I thank the panelists for your enthusiastic participation, and thank you, Raghav, for very insightful comments. And I thank the organizers and the audience for participation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let me thank on behalf of Elets all the eminent speakers here and all the audience. And I will request all the audience that this video is available on the live on the Facebook of digital learning and Elets platform. So if you have liked this discussion, please like and share so that these great ideas are disseminated to larger number of academicians and students. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks.